Now, here's the question. Legally screwed. Now, I went to a new dentist who shaved...
dentist.
A new dentist, yes.
How about we not go to the new dentist?
Yes.
Was it a coupon?
No, it was a
Groupon.
Groupon. Yeah. Now, I went to a new dentist who shaved down my molar and put on a crown without my approval.
Wait, how do you just shave one down without you knowing?
Because you're just trusting them. Yeah, you're like, oh, that sounds normal.
Sounds like a deep clean to me.
Yeah, exactly
I don't think
right.
so. I don't think so.
I don't think so. Now, I had no issues with this tooth and wanted a second opinion before agreeing
What do you mean I had
to
no
this.
issues with the tooth?
Nothing was wrong with my
You just
tooth.
grinded it down for the hell of it?
Well, that's what they're saying so far.
Show me the money.
That's exactly what's going on. Now, I'm stuck with a crown that will need replacing someday, even though they say the procedure was free. Do I have any recourse, or am I stuck since they covered the cost? It's a good question.
No. No, it's a terrible question. It's a terrible question in the sense that you think because somebody hurt you and you didn't have to pay for it, that person's off the hook.
They're not.
No. I think when somebody runs you over with their car, you didn't pay to get run over.
I did not. No.
It's the same concept.
Gotcha.
Just because you didn't have to pay for your injury doesn't mean they're not responsible for injuring you.
I agree.
You were injured.
Yes, you were.
Okay? They did this, and here's the deal. With a medical procedure, you need permission.
Correct.
Okay? So those people who watch TV and they think they understand the law, it's real simple. There's criminal, which involves jail time and stuff like that. And then there's civil, which involves money or forcing you to do something or stop doing something.
Okay.
Okay? There's a difference between the two. All right? Now, in this case, it's not criminal, even though technically they harmed you without your permission.
Where would this fall? Because that's a gray area.
It's a civil case. It's got to be about money.
Gotcha.
So somebody's going to say, how much was this worth to you for the rest of your life to have this? Especially, let's say it's a front tooth or it's a side tooth where you smile and it's like you got the, it's showing.
It's showing the
If
crown.
it's a back tooth or something else like that where you can't see it, but you're still going to need dentist work for the rest of your life possibly because of it.
Because crowns have to be maintained.
Yeah. So it could be a $50,000 issue. It could be $100,000. But here's the thing with medical malpractice.
Okay.
And everyone, you need to hear me on this because everyone thinks, oh, I'm going to sue. Medical malpractice is different than a regular lawsuit.
In what way?
Medical malpractice requires another doctor to testify and say, this was unreasonable and it's the cause of your injury. And you just can't go, hey, I'm just going to find this doctor for hire. Because you technically have to be in the field, and a lot of states require them to still be practicing.
Okay.
So you don't have the professional expert issue you have where a guy's sole job is to testify for attorneys.
That's all he does. But
That's all
no,
he
this
does.
is different. They have
You
to be
really need
practicing.
somebody who's involved, still practicing, and his professional opinion matters. And it's a little different than... because it's a requirement.
Well, and I'm also guessing, you tell me if I'm wrong, I don't know, probably I imagine there's not a lot of doctors who are still practicing who want to go against one of their...
It's tough.
I was
It's a
going to
tough
say,
situation.
that must put them in a weird position.
Now, here's how most of you decide that there's a problem.
Okay.
You go to another doctor, and the doctor goes, yeah, I don't think this is right. I wouldn't have done this. Okay, and then everybody automatically assumes, oh, I have a doctor saying that this was unreasonable and I should sue. That's not what the doctor's saying.
Different, yeah.
And if you ask your doctor that after he says that, hey, would you be willing to testify for me against this other doctor? Well, I didn't say that.
Exactly.
They will backpedal on levels
Yeah, they're not...
because doctors are kind of like actors. How many of them does it take to screw in a light bulb? 100. One to do it and 99 to say they would have done it differently.
Yes.
So those are the rules of that.
Gotcha. And that's going to be hard to find a guy like who's willing to do that because it then becomes public that you went against this guy. You look a certain way to other doctors.
But there are other things you don't always have to sue. What you can do is also file a complaint with their medical board.
What does that do when you file a complaint with a medical board?
Well, it means that there's going to have to be an investigation.
A hearing, if you will.
He'll have to answer it. And if they take it to the next level, they take it to the next level. The reason he didn't charge him is because he did something wrong.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I've never seen a doctor, I've never seen this happen, to perform a medical procedure where there's a problem, where he doesn't bill them.
Correct.
Because he was in the right.
Correct. Yes. Doctors get paid.
I mean, I have a case currently right now where a doctor left part of what they call the mechanics in the body.
He left an instrument.
So this woman kept moving her shoulder, and she's got this sharp pain. She can't figure out what it is, and he left a pretty good sized piece of metal in her shoulder. Now here's the problem: there are doctors out there.
No.
It was almost impossible for us to find an expert because so many times does stuff get left in the body that it's normal now.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And if you're a doctor right there and you think, Jeff, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, that's BS, call me. You can be my expert.
Thank you.
I went through 4 doctors
Mm-hmm.
to finally find a doctor who goes, no, this is unacceptable.
Okay, answer this because I'm listening to what you just
Right.
told me about her. So that means they have to open that woman back up.
3 months later, they opened her up, they took the piece out, and now she's got to rehab it again.
Oh my gosh. So I'm guessing that goes civil at that point.
Yes, it's not criminal.
Not
It's a
criminal,
civil case.
civil.
It's a medical malpractice case.
But doctors have malpractice loss insurance.
Yeah,
That's
they
why
do.
they have it.
And just this isn't about suing doctors.
Understood.
But when a doctor makes a mistake like this,
Mhm.
and the doctor's going to go, I didn't leave it there. The nurse should have been keeping track of this.
They passed the buck.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And they go, you got to sue the hospital. She doesn't work for me. She just gets given to me.
So then it becomes the hospitals.
So you have to bring all 3 of them in.
That's horrible.
Yeah. And I don't like suing medical providers.
Because
It's not something I like because it's unfair in the sense that a lot of times life happens.
that's what I was
But
about
when
to
you
say.
do things
Yeah.
like pull the wrong tooth, for example, I had surgery on my foot.
Mhm.
The doctor marked that foot like 6 times to make sure he cut into the right one.
Yes.
You know why he marked it 6
He
times?
didn't want to get sued.
Because somebody cut up the wrong foot.
Yes. Yes,
and
they
enough
did.
people cut up the wrong body
Yes.
that it became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when people are all upset about lawyers, most of the safety procedures have been put in place to avoid lawsuits,
Mm-hmm.
which, hey, listen, I have no problem with that.
Makes sense.
I
Yeah.
have no problem with that the medical field has become safer because of attorneys. Now, the issue is, well, it's become more expensive because of attorneys. That's a lot of BS. Because
Explain that, because everyone says that. They're like,
because every bit of insurance or anything else that has been done to handle healthcare,
Mhm.
medical malpractice is never covered in it because it's not that big a deal.
Okay.
So any bill or anything else we try to do to help healthcare or anything else, it never has malpractice in it
Got it.
because we realize it's important for people to be able to protect themselves. And the protections doctors already have, because it's a separate kind of process to sue them, it really does protect them.
Got it.
So that's the way it works.
My question is this. I know we got limited time, but let's say that does happen with the lady had the piece still left in her. They open her back up. What could happen to the doctor, the nurse, and the hospital legally?
They might owe some money. Depends on what a jury thinks the damages are.
So it's civil. So my question is, because I'm looking at it from the doctor's point of view and the nurse, they're trying to do their job and they made a mistake. Does
their
that
mistake.
nurse lose her job? Does that
Maybe.
maybe?
And the fact is this, if your job is to pay attention to what goes in and out of the body,
Yes.
you should lose your job.
Got it.
This isn't like, oh, I made a small error. You left something in somebody
Mm-hmm.
that could have killed them.
It could have.
You know, we don't know what happened. It could have cut an artery. There's so many different things that could have happened
Mm-hmm.
because of this.
Mhm.
Bad movement, bad this, or MRI, whatever. You're not supposed to have metal in you at an MRI. You got a piece of metal, it could come shooting out of you. Who knows what can happen?
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is this, and there are going to be a lot of doctors and nurses who listen to this podcast, and they might be a little upset by it. But let me make this clear. If you came to me and I made an error so egregious
Yeah.
that you were harmed by it, I mean, so egregious that I should have known better. Yes, I'm not supposed to leave stuff in the body.
True indeed.
Or, for example, I know I have to show up to court. And if I have a hearing and I don't show up,
Yeah.
I'm in the wrong.
That's on you.
Okay, that's going to be a big issue.
Mhm.
Oh, you lost a case because I didn't show up to a hearing?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I need to show up. So that's the way that works out. I think it's very important for our listeners to understand the law that exists.
Yeah.
Now, there's always going to be a time where somebody says, well, it's not exactly, this is this and this is that. Yeah, everything has interpretation.
There's variables. Yes.
So there are people there who go, well, that's not the way that works. Well, that's the way it works in my neighborhood.